The Sonic movies might not be as cool as anime, but personally I still find them pretty entertaining. With the release of the third film, I decided to watch Sonic movies in different languages. In this video we'll dive into 10 different dubs of the film, and some of them had some really crazy adaptations. Without further ado, let's get started. In the second movie, the characters end up in Siberia, and it's interesting how it was adapted in the Russian dub. First, there's a scene where the characters participate in a dance battle called Pivanka.
Pivanka!
Tails, what's a Pivanka?
The thing is, Pivanka doesn't exist. It's something completely made up by the creators. On top of that, the Russians in the American version speak with a heavy, exaggerated accent, and sometimes they use words that don't exist in the Russian language. For Russian-speaking audience, it doesn't sound like Russian at all. It's more like Polish or Slovak. Obviously, the Russian dub fixed this, so the characters speak normally in this version. Also, for some reason, a few moments were changed in the Russian dub. At one point, Tails used a device to translate his phrases into Russian. And in the American version, these phrases were really weird. But in the Russian dub, they changed them. For example, a line about poop was replaced.
У вас изо рта пахнет козьими какашками.
У вас отличная мужская фигура.
Also, a joke about farting was changed.
Отойди, я навонял.
Отойдите, я сейчас чихну.
I'm not really sure why they made these changes, but the scenes in the Russian dub feel much less amusing. Now, at the end of the first movie, in the Ukrainian dub, Sonic calls Dr. Eggman a robophile. I mean, I'm sure no one of you expected to see it in a Sonic movie. It's hilarious they decided to translate it this way. That's pretty bold and, well, strange. Check it out.
Now you understand why there's a psychotic robot doctor chasing a supersonic blue hedgehog.
Тепер ви розумієте, чому психічно хворий доктор-роботофіл переслідує надшвидкого їжака.
I don't even know what to say about it. It's really some crazy stuff to see in a children's movie. And the thing is, they didn't stop there. You'll see what I mean later in the video. In the middle of the movie, there's a pun in the American version using the word fungi. It's happening when Sonic talks about moving to the mushroom world.
Well, look at it this way. At least you won't be the only fun guy.
However, this was adapted differently across dubs. For instance, the Thai dub turned it into Mario reference. Take a look.
อย่างน้อยนายก็มีเห็ดกินไปทั้งชาติ
ไม่ฉันไม่ใช่มาริโอ
In the Russian version, there is something about cartoons.
Ежики люблять гриби в мультиках.
Now, the Sonic movie has a lot of epic battle scenes, but what's even more exciting is the battles of War Thunder. War Thunder is a colossal free-to-play multiplayer game with sky-high stakes and huge explosions. The game has combat with ground vehicles, aircraft, and naval vessels across stunning global locations. Also, the game has amazing graphics and dynamic physics, which immerse you in a world where every explosion feels real and every battle is legendary. And a new update, Storm Warning, turns things up a notch. Now you can experience breathtaking realism with ray tracing, making every shadow and reflection more lifelike than ever. Plus, there are new military marvels like the Eurofighter Typhoon and Rafale jets, and a fresh map, Attica. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox using the link below. New players and those returning after a 6-month hiatus get exclusive bonuses like the Eagle of Valor decorator and 100,000 Silver Lions. Don't miss out. You can also play War Thunder Mobile on iOS or Android. Download and play it for free using the link in the description. Now let's get back to Sonic. Now, in the first and second movies, there were moments where the characters started to curse but stopped at the last second. However, most dubs replaced these swearings with something less harmful.
I'm the donut lord, you son of a...
Засере пончика, понял? Я дам жарон, зараза.
Yep, just like that. And as you might have noticed, the Donut Lord's name also changed across various dubs. Similarly, Lady Pretzel's name was also changed in other dubs. For example, in Mexico, the Netherlands and France, she is called Lady Yoga for some reason.
Donut Lord lives with Pretzel Lady.
Le Seigneur des Donuts vit avec Lady Yoga.
Now, in the next scene, the Russian dub takes an interesting turn. Sonic seems to outright flirt with the waitress. It sounds quite bold.
The face I was born with, the confidence I picked up along the way.
На самом деле это означает, что я свободен. И большой шалун.
As far as I can tell, no other dub includes such direct flirting. It's also a pretty weird thing to see in the movie. What do you think about that? The Turkish dub also has a unique adaptation here.
Güzelliğim doğuştan, özgüvenim babamdan miras kaldı bebeğim.
It's amusing since according to the story, Sonic supposedly never knew his father. So what is he talking about? Now, as you may recall, Sonic gives Eggman his nickname at the end of the movie.
Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman.
Oddly enough, this doesn't happen in the Russian dub. In this version, Sonic continues to call him Robotnik. This is strange considering most people in Russia know the character as Dr. Eggman, not as Dr. Robotnik.
Твои помощнички нас впечатляют, доктор Работник.
Now here's an interesting fact unrelated to dubbing. In the middle of the movie, the characters drive through Siskiyou County. For Russian speakers, this name sounds like Bupsiu. It's just a fun observation. Now, at the beginning of the movie, Sonic mentions that Eggman's mustache is from the Civil War era.
Chased by a madman with a mustache from the Civil War.
It's intriguing how other dubs adapted this line. For example, the Ukrainian dub references a character from Agatha Christie's books. The French dub mentions the World War I, and the Mexican version references Mexican Revolution.
І з вусами Еркюля Пуаро.
Moustache qui date de la Première Guerre mondiale.
Bigote de la época de la revolución.
Also, the movie featured the idiom "kick the bucket."
Now check this off the old bucket list, huh? Big night for you.
What's a bucket list? I've never kicked a bucket either.
The interesting thing here is that various languages have unique idioms for kick the bucket, and they were creatively adapted in Sonic. For example, in Spanish, this idiom translates to go to another neighborhood. In French, it's break your pipe. In Polish, kick the calendar. And in Russian, glue the flippers together. It's fascinating how different these expressions can be in various languages, and I'm really curious about what the equivalent is in the other languages. Now, in another scene, Sonic asks Tom why the bag smells, but this is interpreted differently across dubs. For instance, in the Romanian version, they refer to a local dish called muraturi, while in the Russian dub, Sonic just lists random items.
What were you keeping in this bag? A jar of pickled farts?
Боркан de muraturi.
Рыбу, сыр, огурцы соленые.
There are also several moments in the Ukrainian dub where references to popular movie and shows were added.
They're real survivors, those two.
Та вони справжні термінатори.
What the heck is going on? Is that thing an alien? Що в чорта коїться? Що це за альф?
In the Mexican dub, they changed a few names. Take a look.
I'm sure you're hella popular with the Jebs and Merles and Billy Bobs and this glorified gas station rest stop.
Apuesto que es súper popular entre los Pedros, Marías, Pacos y Pepes de esta glorificada gasolinera en medio de la nada.
Pretty obvious adaptation. In the middle of the movie, Sonic teases Tom, and in the Turkish dub, he uses a rather peculiar insult.
You're not the donut lord at all. You're more like the jerk lord.
Sen Ponçik Bey falan değilmişsin. Sen bir hıyar beymişsin.
Apparently, calling someone a cucumber is a common insult in Turkish, and it sounds really amusing to me. In another scene, Sonic is riding a mechanical bull. In the original version, there is a joke about the bull's rear end. However, in the Dutch dub, Sonic is trying to find the bull's genitals to figure out if it's male or female. Meanwhile, in the Russian version, they completely removed any jokes related to this theme.
Wait a second, is this bull missing a head or does it have two bugs?
Wacht eens even, heeft deze stier geen kop of heeft hij twee pupsen?
Этот безголовый бык понятия не имеет, как нужно развлекаться.
This time, the most interesting yet unusual dubs for me were the Russian and Ukrainian one. If you'd like to see a video about the third movie, hit the like button. And if you have something to add to the video, leave it in the comments. See ya!